Hey, what is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of You Got It Comic Book Weekly. But as you can tell, it's just Kat and myself tonight. Brant is sick. He told us right away he's not coming on. So you can see that the screen is different. It's just the two of us on there. However, even though it is just the two of us, we will still have a good show. And one of the reasons why we weren't on last week was because I had a basketball game to go to. It was a company party for my wife. Could not get out of that. So, and it was cool to go see a basketball game. It just happened to take place on a Tuesday.
That's what we were chatting about. And I was at Emerald City Comic Con, which is why I don't have a voice, and I'm still in my red eye zone. So, but it was a good show. Webtoon invited us to a lot of dinners, which was fun, and saw some of you guys, which was really cool. So yeah, anytime you see me at a show, definitely hit me up, say hi. Don't be scared. I don't bite. Because it's really cool to see you guys and talk about comics. So it's cool to see that this year is. I feel like every year, probably because the show and my brand's growing, but it's cool every year. I get like even more people from the show saying hi, even if it's a quick hi. So I think that's cool. But yeah, I don't have a voice because of it. Still catching up, but it's funny because last week I was like, yeah, no, I won't be on, and then obviously Mike couldn't make it, and now this time around it's Brant who we lost. But hopefully next week we'll have everybody here. So
Yeah, it's all a scam. It's all a lie. We never want to do this show ever. So it's just like we'll just do a rotational thing going, oh, I'll take off this week and then you'll take off next week.
Because all three of us hate each other.
That's all how it really is. Yeah, we really don't get along. Anyway, though, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you had fun, I tell you, though, it's like this comic book week currently was like, I felt like it was a little bit of a slower week. And I feel like this coming week, like tomorrow, seems like it's going to be a slower week. But, dude, on the 28th, there are so many comic books coming out. I'm probably going to have like 30-something comic books on my pull list.
Wow.
There was a ton, like a ton.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing like honestly every week I'm getting a lot. That even tomorrow I'm getting a lot. I'm getting 6, 9, 10, 11. Sorry, there's the fridge. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm in 17 books tomorrow, so that's a lot for me. And then yeah, it looks like it's pretty consistent throughout. I'm getting a lot of books throughout, and I'm guessing for you probably that last month is a lot of sorry, my brain's not working, but it's a lot of like Transformers. And I was like, what am I saying?
I
Transformers, Geiger.
Like a lot of like jumping on points for DC. I think they got a lot of that coming out.
Yeah.
Also,
they have a lot coming out. Yeah. They have I know like the Lobos come out. I think that's the week after. Let me see. I think that's the week of the 18th. Because you have Lobo, Deathstroke, and Batwoman come out on the 18th, which I'm getting all the jumping on points. I want to try them out. And then the 25th, it looks like there's the DC Marvel book, so I'm sure we'll get some variants there. There's got the continuation of Wolverine, Ultimate Endgame, things like that. But I don't see a lot of. You have to look and tell me because I don't see a lot of issue ones for the 25th. Maybe you're thinking of the 18th. Maybe you're probably thinking of the 18th.
Yeah, maybe it's the 18th. Maybe it's the 18th.
The 18th has a lot too.
I'm curious now on myself. Here, let me check my.
I think it is. I'm seeing those issue ones, so I think it is the 18th. And I'm getting a solid amount, but I actually think tomorrow I'm getting even more because I'm getting a lot of the issue ones. I'm getting like Tigress issue 1, Alias issue 1, Imperial Gardens issue 1, X-Men United, like things like that.
Yeah, you're right. It was the 18th.
Yeah,
because it's got Lobo and all that other stuff, and yeah, that's what it is. The 18th.
Yeah, no,
I have the video already out. And for members only, and it says prepare to empty your wallets.
Yeah, so, no, I'm excited for this whole month. There's so many good stuff. Funny, I had a friend who gifted me Rook X's hardcover, so now I have no excuse. I got it for free, so I have to read it.
The problem is like they started coming out with this second arc, right? And it's like, and it just stopped. Like we haven't gotten an issue
really.
For I want to say it's been at least 3 months at least at this point.
That's crazy. I guess because I
Yeah.
haven't really caught track as much as you guys are talking about it, but that is kind of crazy that they've had such a delay doing that. 'Cause I mean, like, it was Geiger and stuff like
Even
that seems like
announced
it's
that
coming
it was delayed, like,
out.
they took, like, was it 6-month or 7-month break, or maybe it was a year break, and then it was like, "Okay, we're gonna come out," and then it's just like you had 3 issues, and then it stopped again. So, it's
Mm.
like, "What's happening?" Like, no word or anything. Hyde Street took a break too, but they came out with an issue there.
Yeah.
Um, Geiger's been fine, not much of a
Hornsby and Halo, I feel like from what I saw isn't coming
Hornsby
out
and
as
Halo,
often.
to me, I
I
don't
don't
even
read
care.
it, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think I feel like that's been kinda
How
left
about
behind
the
too.
Rockefellers? I know that's their other
Rockefellers
one.
has been pretty consistent too.
So that's good. So it's really maybe it's the artist because I mean obviously Jeff Johns does a lot of those books, so it has to be the art then. I think it's Jason
It's
Fabic, right?
maybe, I guess so, yeah.
Because I feel like the other ones would be delayed too. Is it Halo a video game? Yeah, just not that type of
It's
Halo.
called Hornsby in Halo.
Yeah, because it's like the devil and the angel. That was the one I thought I
Right.
was gonna enjoy the most out of what I enjoy. But out of all of them, and again, Rook Exodus now I have it, so I probably will get into it a little more that I have it. But I feel like out of all of them, I probably enjoyed High Street the more and the most. It's just that it was an anthology, so it just there's so many books that come out. I'm like, oh, what do I choose? But I
It
actually was pleasantly
it's
surprised with High
it's really
Street
not though an anthology
because I
though.
know it
There
connects to the world,
it's
but they
it's
tell
it's an
different stories.
overarching story
Yeah.
of those characters. It is an overall story, and it does make sense. It's not like a
Mhm.
typical, like, horror story where you talk about one story and then you never see that character again, right? It's
Sure.
like these characters keep going. So,
Yeah. So Ghost Machine, check it out. Even Rick Remender books have been delayed. Sacrificers is almost over. I actually got Sacrificers by accident because it's still my pull. But and I was like, oh man. And I had someone else pick up my books this week because I was away. But I yeah, recommend Remender's books. That other book though that he had, that he didn't write, but it was the Oh, it was one me and Brant read. I think it also started with an S, but that one was so delayed. That and you liked it in the beginning, but then it went off. But I forget what it's called. Someone in the comments, I'm sure, will remember. But it's a guy who died, and it was like a murder mystery, and he was paralyzed. That one was like super delayed, and I don't think it ended well because of it. So that's the one thing that does suck about. I mean, making good comics because obviously they still had good quality, but I think that's the reason they were delayed.
right.
But let's jump in. That was our little Ghost Machine talk, but we're going to jump into some news here. Let's start with the media news. I don't think you saw the trailer, but Lantern had its trailer, and a lot of people were talking about it. And that was the reason we were like sitting at the table, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll see it.
I
And
saw bits and pieces of
it
it,
was
but I didn't
boring.
see the whole thing. It doesn't look good at all. Like, and it could be just a trailer.
Sure.
It could be a great show, but just based off of what I'm seeing there, I'm like, I don't see these guys as like I don't see the guy from Friday Night Lights, the guy that
Mm,
plays Hal Jordan. I'm like, I just can't picture him as Hal Jordan. It just doesn't look right to me, you know? And I think he's a great actor, but I'm just used to him seeing in different roles and seeing him
sure.
in as a superhero. To me, it just doesn't work, you
Well,
know?
especially they're all older, and I think it would have worked if we've seen a lot more Green Lantern iterations, but we've only had one and it wasn't good. So it's like,
Yeah,
don't tell
true.
the story about them being older and different and to get the regular Green Lantern stuff correct. And I think that's what I didn't love. But also, it was interesting because I feel like I went into the trailer being like, oh no, I'm sure naysayers, I'm sure it's great. And then I watched it, I'm like, this is Green Lantern show. Like, there's no Green Lantern. Like it's
Yeah.
all them like on the road for most of the time. I'm like, oh, this is so strange.
Yeah, same thing. Like I saw bits and pieces of it. I think I saw part of the trailer. I was like watching the Today Show like
Mm,
during breakfast time, and they showed like a partial of the trailer. I'm like, man, this doesn't look good. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to see it. So I don't know. I might give the first episode a try
yeah.
if I remember that it comes out,
Right.
but it's one of those things that when it comes to the TV shows, I always tend to fall behind
Mm,
unless I really like it, and so, like, I have like one episode left of The Beauty, and I've
Mm.
loved that show. I think that show has been really, really good. And I started rewatching Invincible, and I just got done with the end of the second season of that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I watch reality TV shows a lot, which is weird to say, but like I
Well,
like
yeah,
competition shows. That's easier for me to watch after a long day. But like TV, it's really gotta like bring me in, or
right.
it's something I have to like passively watch while I'm working. Like Wonder Man was something I was able to watch and enjoy while I was doing other things. So that was a little easier. But to like focus on a show and like it be a
Yeah.
big show, yeah,
The only
that's a
the
little
only
harder.
time I'm ever able to watch shows is if I'm not making a video, which is
Mm,
very rare, not reading a comic, which is very rare, and when my wife is home, we watch TV, but she doesn't watch that stuff.
right.
So like we watch like reality shows like Amazing Race and Big
Mhm.
Brother and Naked and Afraid. Like
It's
we watch all
easier.
those stuff. Yeah, exactly. So when she goes to work and she has to be at work a couple days of the week, that's when I might say, okay, let me go sit down and watch a show. So that's
No.
how that works.
Right now, the way I've been using spare time, which has been limited, but like an hour or so every couple of days, is playing Resident Evil Requiem. I've been really
Ah,
enjoying that
we
game. I
were
love
trying to
that
get
game.
it. We still haven't been able to get it yet. So,
I
is it
got the
good?
physical. Yeah, oh, it's amazing. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, but this
Yeah.
one's like if you love horror, you're gonna really like it.
Well,
It's so
yeah.
much
Like
fun.
we
Yeah,
told you,
what you do?
we played Resident Evil 4 just
Yes.
recently, and we played, all the other ones. We played 7 and 8, but from what people are saying, like this is like the best Resident Evil
Oh,
since 4.
yeah, since 4, because I have a special place in my heart for 4, but I
Yeah.
really like that there's a section that this girl, Grace, she's like more horror. She's more like final girl. You have less weapons with her, and then kind of sneak around a little more. And then Leon's more action because he's a little bit more of a trained person. You
Yeah.
don't play as Leon as much, at least from in the beginning. I'm like, probably a few hours in, but it's so fun. If you like horror games, if you like Resident Evil, that's kind of how I've been spending my time. What I did, I got a physical copy through Amazon and it didn't come. And I was like, I guess it's not coming. And I didn't even get the one I wanted. I got this, I got a physical copy, but that's a steal one I ordered, which kind of sucked because I spent money on it. But I was like, all right, let me just get it digitally because it's a me thing. I want it, So I'm going to
It's
spend the extra
same. Like
money.
we're looking for
Yeah.
a physical copy. I don't want a digital copy.
Yeah, no, and I got the physical in the mail so that day. So I got that, and then I did end up having to get the digital for the day before, thinking I wasn't getting the physical, but I did end up getting the physical, so I bought it. But yeah, I love it. I think it's great. Now I'm using the physical. Speaking of Resident Evil, Zach Kreger is directing the new movie. I'm very excited. Zach Kreger did Barbarian, he did Weapons, so very excited for that.
That's cool.
We also have a question here. MegaCon is coming up. Anyone going? I almost did. There was just lateness with trying to get into that. They have a very small window to like get your stuff in, and I will say from the other side, they're not the most organized. There's been many times I've been trying to go, and they just like we had our pieces of paper in a few years ago, and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I got to get a plane ticket. So they're not the most organized people, but I'm hoping to go there at some point because obviously I would love to see Mike and have a con. We did it years ago,
Yeah.
but where we got to hang out. So it'd be nice to do, but I have not been able to do it. I've been doing a lot more of the repop shows and they're a bit more organized and they like us personally. So it's nice to have like people that are like friendly talking to us and know us. So it's nice to do conventions. That way I just not as familiar with people who organize those
I'm gonna
shows, so it's
try to
harder to
go. I
contact.
I still haven't like got any tickets yet or anything like that. It's always going to be like the last minute. If I do go, it's going to be probably on the Friday. That would
Mm.
probably be the only day I go.
I think it's like next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think it's like in the 20th or 20
Mm.
something or something like that.
I think it was the 1 week we didn't have anything because the week after MegaCon is C2E2. So like
Oh,
it's like all of March because they had Emerald City, which is a repop show too. So we're doing C2E2. So it's like con after big con after big con. And then I think you get a little bit of break. I just wish they spread out the big conventions a little bit this year. It's a lot of
it's
the
like
bigger
right away.
conventions.
Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom. Yeah.
In March. So All right, let's get into some more comic news here. I'm going to speak on this quickly, but DC is developing a new Batman comic with Cliff Chang and Brian Azzarello, same creative team that did Wonder Woman. I didn't really read the Wonder Woman series, which is crazy because I know a lot of people did. I just like Cliff Chang. I'm literally actually wearing the shirt now because I love Paper Girls, so that's mostly what I'm excited for.
God, it's been so long since Paper Girls has come out, right? Like when you think about how long ago that series came out.
Yeah. But it still seems like they sell their books on a very consistent basis because they keep making those trays. They keep making like different versions of it. But yeah, it's
Right.
been a long time. And obviously the TV show wasn't the most successful, which I think, and I was just recently talking about this. I think if they made it animated, it would have been better. I think it's really, really, really hard to translate kids to live action.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you did Stranger Things,
Stranger
but I think that
Things,
was
yeah.
lucky, honestly. Like the kids are a little harder, especially if you read them like as comics before. I just don't know if it worked.
I don't know if it got as much like publicity or advertising, and people would be like, if they're not a comic reader, they would be like, what is Paper Girls?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, no, I agree. We do have a question from Mike Manhattan. Did you guys see the Scary Movie 6 trailer? Yeah, and I personally loved it. I feel like it's so weird to see people commentating and saying, "Oh, this joke is like old and this and that and that." I'm like, dude, do you know what the source material Scary Movie is? Like, go watch the other stuff. It's the same humor, and don't take everything so seriously. Like one of the things that people were upset about was like they had like a pronoun joke in the beginning, and people were like, "Oh man, like that was so classless." I'm like, dude, the guy, the one of the Wayans brothers has a trans kid. Like he's not doing it ill will. He's just like being funny, right? Like you could laugh, you could make jokes about things, and I think that's so interesting that I
right.
don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was just what it has been, and don't like just have a good time in theaters. I saw Scream and I hated that, and I love Scream, and I thought that was the worst Scream. Adam,
Really?
oh, it was horrible. I hated it. The killer reveal was the worst.
Don't
I
say
won't
anything.
reveal
Yeah.
it, but I was gonna say it was the worst I've ever seen, and obviously that makes the movie.
Oh God, that's
It
crazy.
just was, yeah, it was just stupid. So, yeah, I did not like scary Scream. But they did show the Scary Movie trailer, and that's how I saw it. But I thought it was cool. Okay, let's get into how bad was Scream 7. Bad, and that's all I'll say. But go see it, make your own things. But I didn't like it. All right, let's talk about Bishop is getting a miniseries. You want to talk about this, Mike? I'm trying to see who's writing it. Saladin
It's
Ahmed.
Saladin Ahmed.
Yeah.
I'm because he's writing it, I'm not excited about it. Now it's only a mini series, so it could be different, could be fine, could be okay. And I know, didn't you like the last? Oh no, that was Cable. That was the Cable series,
and that was
you liked.
David Papose who wrote it.
Yeah. So this, I'm not excited about this at all. I love Bishop character, but the way he wrote Daredevil and the way he's currently writing Wolverine right now, it's not good. Like Wolverine is like in a cabin, like going on some rando missions, trying to find this like little kid mutant, and it just came out this week too. And like he's hooking up with Silver Sable, like in the cabin in the woods. It's like this is weird. Like this is the story you got to tell with Wolverine. So yeah, I'm not a fan of what he's doing with some of his books. So
I've never been able to get
pass.
into his writing either. I'm not a huge Bishop fan, so I'll probably skip this one too. All right. Next up is the founder of Dark Horse is leaving after 40 years. I will say, from what I understand of the situation, there was like new ownership like 2 years ago, and it was more of like, oh, it's weird that he stayed as long as he did. So that this has been happening for already. So if you like what's going on with Dark Horse, it's probably not going to change that much because that new ownership had already happened. Dark Horse for me, I don't read a lot of their books, so it's really hard to say they're doing great or not. I like their Avatar books. They don't release them very often. And then the rest, I think they're trying to improve. I see them doing more it's creator owned, which is cool. I saw that we talked about that creator who did Oh, Kill All Immortals. He's doing a lot
Yeah.
more. So I don't know if I have a strong opinion just because of all that, but it seems like they're going to be same old, same old.
I mean, and you had the book where it was, what was it? The horror person that was a superhero that had powers when she watched the movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
It
totally
came out a few years ago. I forgot the
not
name of
even
it.
last year, I think it
Oh,
was.
last year. Wow.
Yeah. It's like she watched the movie and she wanted superpowers because she was a horror person. And then you got Mark Millard that's on there that does like Nemesis and he does those books too.
Is that still really being released as frequently? Because I
It
don't
just
follow
it
it as
just
much.
well, it
Okay,
ended. The
just
series
that.
just ended like maybe a couple months ago.
That's not too bad.
So, yeah, Nemesis Forever. That's what Panel by Panel Comics said.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that is but I mean, you still have Mark Miller that's part of Dark Horse. That's a big name that's there. So that will help him because all his properties will come out of Dark Horse now.
Yeah, I think he just needs to have a because the even Nemesis, like Nemesis was a good title for people continuing it, but that was like a third volume of a series that already come out. I
Yeah.
think he needs to release a new issue one to get people, or like something like Kick Ass or something, which I don't think he will do right now. I don't think he's been touching Kick Ass, but I think we need a new number one from him. And yeah, like I think the graphic novels are interesting. We saw a lot more with Avatar, and even if it's not for the Wednesday Warriors, I know for a fact that's where a lot of Dark Horse makes their money, just because that has a huge audience. So I'd be curious to see if they release more of those, and it seems like they are. So yeah, that's the Dark Horse up. Any other things about Dark Horse?
No, I just wish him good luck and you know, hopefully they'll be around for another 40 years, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I will say they are giving at Emerald City Comic Con. I had to pass them to go to my seat, and they're always giving a lot of free stuff out. So I feel like if they're getting a lot of free stuff out, that they probably have money enough to do that. It was like a lot of books, and they did a lot of signings, which I thought was cool too. Like every single time I passed them, they had signings. I won't say they had like the longest lines, but there's always like one or two people there.
Right.
And again, they gave away the free bags, and I thought that was actually like really good marketing. And they do it usually at Comic Cons, but I saw it more visually today. Like when I was passing them early in the morning, it was just they gave like a new free bag each time, and that's smart advertising because people are walking with your logo and be like, "What's that? I should look it up." Oh, American Capers, Dark Horse. I completely forgot about that. We both read that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We read it all the time. It's just you forget like sometimes like
What's
these
what?
independents are Dark Horse. Yeah.
I was like, is that
Exactly.
IDW? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know which company it was
Ignition
from either.
Press, like
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, there's so many. But yeah, I forgot that was Dark Horse. So we are reading something, and they again has a different audience because of the video game sector because it was a video game writer. All right, let's get into the next thing, which is let's talk about the first look at Absolute Scarecrow. This was on Twitter, but Scott Snyder shared it, so it wasn't like just weird news. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. This is from Scott Snyder's feed, I believe, but he shared it. So this is what he's going to look like,
Dude, he's creepy though, man.
and that's something, and we'll go into the villain conversation in a beat after we do one more newsletter. But I think that's a newsletter, one news piece. That's what I think why the regular universe is making all these characters that are villains heroes, because we have the Absolute universe where they're reinventing these villains and can do kind of these scary things. So I feel like it's almost like it doesn't matter for the regular universe. You can do whatever you want because you have the Absolute universe doing these really terrifying villain stories. But yeah, he looks crazy. I absolutely, obviously, that's a big part of why Absolute Batman was so popular was the designs more than
Right.
anything. So, and
It's like
having
he's
this
so
is cool.
creepy looking up top, and then he's like wearing this suit down below, and it's just weird to me, you know.
And his head looks attached on.
Yeah, it's so oh my god, it is scary, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I mean, Absolute Batman's always been really solid. I'm happy for the numbers it has. All right, let's get to the one news piece and then we'll go to our main story here. So DC is developing a new Batman. Oh no, that's the one I already did. Hold on. No, what? I read that already. Okay. Spider-Man, Hulk, and Punisher collide in Jonathan Hickman's new Marvel event series. It is called Spider-Man Long Way Home. And again, it's written by Hickman and art is by Adam Kubert. And it's Hickman again. I don't know if this I think I think it excites me to get these three heroes together. We don't really see them very often. Does Hickman excite me? I think for a first issue, it really excites me. But I really, really, really hope he sticks to landing because,
Exactly. Like it's just like everything is a dud when it comes
Mhm.
to him finishing things. It's like he never finishes things. If he can finish it, if he already has this written and it's done, then maybe it'll be all right. They look like they're going after a Cosmic Cube or something there on that cover.
Which might be with the Miles Morales. I don't know if it's connected to the regular universe at all, but the Miles Morales thing, he's collecting things too. So maybe they're on a collection type thing. Because what was the Miles Morales thing called? It's Cube something, right? The things he's collecting.
The oh, what is it? The freaking origin boxes, right? Isn't
Origin
that
boxes. So yeah,
yeah.
maybe it's related to that. I'm not really sure, but like you said, it does look more like a cosmic cube.
It
I
does
mean, the art
say
looks good.
it
Does it
says
say a cosmic cube?
it says, yeah, the 5-issue limited series from Hickman and Adam Kubert throws Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk into a dangerous hunt for a missing cosmic cube.
So it probably is not really connected to anything either. I'm not saying that has to be, but I will say it sucks when things feel disjointed,
It
when it's
it
like something's going on there and then here is this.
yeah. Well, here it says it's like like Wolverine's Revenge. We definitely don't want to go back there. It says from Hickman and Greg Capullo, the story exists outside the core Marvel universe. The approach allows the creators to be bold. So it has nothing to
Hopefully
do with
they're
the main
bold.
universe. Yeah.
I
But
hope
if
that
it's
means like
written
big things happen.
anything like that
Mm.
Wolverine series, that's not gonna be good.
I think I only read one issue of it, and I really didn't like the Wolverine series either. I don't remember if I guess Hickman was writing that one. I don't remember
Yeah.
that. I remember it being a big deal that Greg Capullo was coming back to Marvel.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I didn't remember Hickman writing it. But yeah, I
No,
remember the first issue being kind of boring.
it just got worse. It was the worst story ever, you know? It's horrible. It's like you would think like Wolverine and Greg Capullo coming back, and it's like, well, sorry, no, this is bad.
No, no, glad I did not read that. Have you read East of West? That was the time where
Ooh,
I
that
kind
was a
of knew
long
it.
time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and I remember I was like, "Oh, I'm not a Hickman fan. I'm not going to read that." And now I've grown to like some of Hickman's writings, so I probably could go back. But again, I don't even know how it ends, or
So,
I
like,
haven't had a satisfying ending.
it's funny with East and West, it was the same thing. Like, I read
Mhm.
it to a point, and then it just got boring, you know? Um, I really liked his X-Men stuff while he was on it. I thought it was
Mm.
good. And then I did like Ultimate Spider-Man, and I did like his Secret Wars. I thought the Secret War thing was done really well too. Um,
I think I've
back
liked
in
his Ultimate
2015.
Spider-Man the most. I still think out of everything, that's what I genuinely looked forward to every month. I think there
Right.
was a lot of bold stuff with Krakoa that I liked, but I think sometimes it was dense. And then the same thing, I remember you loved Secret Wars a lot more than I did, but I didn't
Yeah.
hate it as an event. I thought it was interesting, but I remember being also kind of that very dense material that Hickman
It
tends to do.
it was just I love the world that he created. It was just
Mhm.
like, okay, the Ultimate Universe blew up, everything blew up, and there was all these incursions that happened. And so we're gonna, for a little while, create this crazy battle world. He came out with a map, and you had like the Doctor Doom, you had all these different sections. Like that was so creative. And that the way that ended, I thought that was really well done. And so that kind of like I was like, "Oh, wow, that was pretty cool by Hickman," you know? So that's what kinda reinvigorated him for me, but then it's like, okay, and then you got X-Men, and I was like, "Okay, cool, we got X-Men." Started off super strong, and then it was just like he went away, and then you got Ultimate Spider-Man, you're like, "Okay, cool, he's on that," and still it was good. It just ended, and it didn't
Yeah.
end with like, "Oh, this was great," you know?
No, for sure. I 100% agree with all that. All right, before we get into comics, we're going to talk about our main topic here, which is uh, our villains becoming too much of heroes in both Marvel and DC. But honestly, I've seen it in
Yes.
DC a lot. Marvel, you have the Norman Osborn. He's still a hero in Spider-Man. That's been a while. And then you have Lex Luthor in Superman, which has probably been just as long. And then you have now Doomsday, I think was kind of the most shocking to see go towards the good side a little bit more because he's such a brute villain.
Right.
So I think, well, like I was saying earlier, I feel like because of the Absolute Universe, I think that's why they're doing it, because they have these reimaginations of these characters. So why not make him a good guy? I think for certain characters it works. Like I like Norman as a good guy right now because I don't really like Peter Parker. So I'm like, anytime he's on screen, it's a little bit more interesting. Lex Luthor, I feel like they've done everything they can with him, if I'm being honest. And we will talk about DCKO later, but also he didn't do as much in that event as we thought he would. So I think Lex Luthor's kind of hanging by a thread of being a good guy because, like, okay, we've had this for a while. But yeah, it's so interesting to see both. I guess because Harley and Poison Ivy worked really well for them, so they're like, let's see if we can do it for other people. But your big bads, it's a little harder because then who you're fighting, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think it takes away from the story because we've said it before, what makes good comics, it's the good villains. And if you take away the good villains and you make them into good guys, then who are your good guys going to fight? And that's a problem, you know. And I think it's okay with a couple characters, you know, like Poison Ivy, like I get
Mm-hmm.
it, you know,
She's
and then
been on the
Harley, like
line.
I kind of get that, you know, but it's like, so you think about Venom. Venom went to
Sure.
a just a pure straight evil version of Spider-Man to an anti-hero to now basically a hero. Like we're not even an anti-hero anymore, you know,
Yeah.
and then it's like you might say even Doctor Doom. Like Doctor Doom is this diabolical mastermind, will do anything it takes to take over the world. But obviously, you know, now he has a goddaughter, and it's just like he shows his softer side to himself. And it's just like you wouldn't see that in the past, you
Well,
know?
even Noel too. He has this villain book, and I feel like this is like trending towards let's make him a hero,
Yeah.
which is weird because he's like it's hard to make
He's
a
a
new
dark
character a villain.
character. He's a
He,
symbiote, the lord
no,
of darkness. Like, how do you change? Let's make the darkest and most evil symbiote out of all of them. Let's make them into a light character. Like, that
yeah,
doesn't make any
literally with a
sense.
white costume now. It's just so like, and again, it's a newer character that they made. Like that's hard to like make a character that's successful and that's newer. So why like change him up already? He's so new. Like do other things with him. So
Yeah.
it's so strange to see that. And that's not me saying you have to be pure evil to be interesting. I think like and we'll talk about Absolute Superman this week, but like what they're doing with Lex Luthor and Absolute Superman seems like they're going to be making him a villain because he's going through stuff. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. You don't have to be Mustache Twirly to be an interesting villain. You can still have a softer side, quote unquote, but doesn't mean you have to be a hero, right? And I think that's the part where I'm like, there's maybe too many of them. I think choose one, do the arc, and then eventually, like, I don't want to see Green Goblin as a good guy forever. I want to see what makes him a bad guy again because he's not a good person.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and what about Magneto? Remember
Right.
Magneto? And you look at all the different type of X-Men characters,
Emma.
Emma Frost, you know, it's like because of Krakoa, all of those villains pretty much became, I guess, heroes in
Which
a
is probably
way.
why X-Men is where they are because they have no one to fight.
Yeah, exactly. So now we make up these characters, right? So it's kind of crazy in my eyes to just be like, all right, we're gonna make all X-Men good guys, and who are they gonna fight now? So that kind of sucks, you know?
And I think, like I said earlier, I think Doomsday is the one that surprised me the most because I don't think it necessarily needed to happen. I think that character could have been anyone. I think in the beginning it was interesting that he was calling for Superman, but I think he should have had, turn the heel moment because you don't need Doomsday to be a good guy.
Right.
There's nothing that makes him have to be a good guy. So I think that one's a really strange pick. I don't think it ruins the story for me, but I think it, like we were saying, I think it has bigger impacts where it's like, where do these stories go if they don't have menacing villains? It's like if your heroes become villains, right? It's like, oh, where does that go? Like it's like when I don't know, Captain America was the Hail Hydra. Like that can't last very long, right? Because that's not the core of that character.
No.
So I
And
think
people
that
are pissed on that.
yeah, people are really pissed. So I wonder how many people are pissed about these villains becoming heroes because I haven't heard as much, but I think it's definitely affecting certain stories. Like I said, I think Superman's this weird one where the series is so good and it was building into DCKO and these other stuff. It didn't matter. But I'm curious about Amazing Spider-Man, how long Norman could be good, because I think it is already affected the series that he doesn't really fight anyone that's old, right? When's the last time he fought one of his old villains, like Dr. Octopus or Vulture? Like, I don't
He
think he's
most
fought
in
them.
that first story arc in this new run, he fought Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. And I think
Yeah.
Hobgoblin's still been in the background, but he hasn't really
Yeah, he's
done
still back
much.
there. Yeah. But yeah, and then he fought the Hellgate villain, so he did that, and now
But that's a new villain too.
right, and now in this Death Spiral, he's fighting a new villain as
A new
well.
villain. Yeah.
At least that's what we think anyway, you know.
Sure. Which I think that one's exciting, but it also does remind me a little bit of the Kindred days where it's like, who is this? And we'll see how long. But I'm sure by then, Death Spiral will find out who it is and what their motives are, because I think that will help for sure.
Right.
But yeah, that's our main topic. Please let us know in the comments below what you thought. I just like, I was reading Superman or DCKO in particular this week, and it was like, and then I read Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, I thought this would be an interesting topic to talk about because it's been playing in the background, but I don't feel like we gave a major spotlight to it ever.
Do you think is there what's it called? Is there a villain that's turned good for the better of the comic book?
Harley, for sure, because she was a little bit less. She didn't have as many dimensions. She was just like, hey, Mr. J type person. So I think Harley Quinn probably is the best version of that. And I think Poison Ivy too, but I also don't know if Poison Ivy was ever that big of a villain. She just like wanted to save the environment, and that's always been her thing. So I think she fit. Other than that, I think Venom works as well, just because there's been so many different hosts. But I think Eddie Brock has to stay a little bit badder, and I think they've tried to do that where Eddie Brock is like in the shadows a little bit more. But depending, like obviously MJ and Flash, you're not going to make them villains, and I think that's interesting. Right. And I don't know what that means for the Venom symbiote as a whole, because the Venom symbiote's always been like abused, and that's why he's bad. So him having such good relationships with Flash and MJ, you can kind of already see he's more of the Venom from the movies, you know. He's like funny, you know.
Well, and now we're about to get Peter Parker as Carnage.
Sure.
And
yeah,
it's like, exactly. So how does that look like too?
Yeah, I mean that goes back to making the heroes the villains too, because I can't imagine Carnage making Peter good, like because Venom didn't make Peter good. So I don't know where that goes. If he makes the Carnage good, I think there's a problem, because Carnage really is like, he's not Venom. Venom always had at least a little anti-hero in him, but Carnage, he's a psycho killer, right? So it's just like, and obviously Kalidas helped that, but like he's still like within that. So I wouldn't want to see him as a good guy. He better be bad when we see him.
Yeah, that would be weird. You'd be like, oh, I can control you, Cletus. No, you can't.
No, that's like, and also you have to have stakes, right? If you could control him right away, what's the stake? What's the story besides you have another symbiote attached to you?
Right. And then again, now you're eliminating characters from Spider-Man, right?
Sure.
We've tried multiple runs now on introducing a new villain, right? So you had Nick Spencer's run where you had Kindred.
Wound up being Harry.
You wound up being Harry, right? And so, and then you have what's it called? Zeb Wells. And so, like, what happened?
He did the Queen. He did that Queen character.
Oh, the Goblin Queen.
That actually might have been Joe Kelly after Zeb Wells. I don't know if Zeb Wells.
No, that was before.
Was it before?
Then, yeah, and then Joe Kelly did the 8 Deaths of.
But Spider-Man. Joe Kelly also did. And maybe I'm wrong. I thought he did some series right before that. Remember when there was like that?
That's
there was
the
like
8
3
Deaths
writers.
of Spider-Man.
There's 3 writers writing. Was that
Oh, that was Cody Ziegler.
Cody Ziegler? Okay, yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think it was Joe Kelly though.
Okay.
Yeah,
You guys let me know in the comments below because I remember there was a time right after Zeb Wells and it was like 15 issues where like 3 writers were writing. So Zeb
Zeb
Wells gave
Wells
us
gave us
Paul.
Paul.
I guess so.
What if Paul becomes? I said, what if Paul is Torment? And then now I'm thinking, what if Paul becomes Carnage?
I just like use him, right? Like if you
Yeah,
have
just
him and
use
he's a
him, do something
joke,
with him.
because like we have no one else. And I know there's people in the comments that'll probably disagree with us, but just like make him just like he's funny. He's a funny character. And like it's a big laugh if you do something like that.
He's fun to make fun of.
Yeah, exactly. Like keep making fun of him, especially in something that's Venom related, because they already know he's the butt of the joke. And now we're with him on. Like that's the thing. When Paul was first introduced, they took him so seriously, and that's why he did not work. But Venom figured it out. It was like, oh, people hate him. Let's like lean on that.
Yeah. But it's like if you make him a villain, it kind of makes sense now because at first he was in a dimension with Mary Jane with kids. Then he got pulled back into this dimension, right? And then he became her little sidekick and created the jackpot technology. Then that technology winds up getting hijacked by Venom. She no longer needs him. She breaks up with him. He moves out. His apartment gets blown up. The dude doesn't have anything. He's a complete loser, as Dylan would say, you know?
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that he holds everyone around Mary Jane responsible for what has happened. That's why she's center right now of possible death. So it makes sense when you think about it.
They mentioned, and I don't remember exactly because it's not in front of me, but I think it was the last issue that her aunt was kind of involved with some of the stuff that was going on with the killings too. So
right,
they referenced her name. So yeah, that would definitely make a lot of sense that they would go that route. Yeah, I hope it was funny, and I didn't mention it in the news because I don't know how true it was. It was bleeding cool, and I didn't listen to the interview, but I did see that Tom Brevoort was supposedly saying in an interview. Again, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know how true it is. It was bleeding cool that he wants Marvel fans to be angry. He'd rather have Marvel fans be angry than indifferent. Which in certain cases I understand that. I think Superior Spider-Man obviously showed that, but I think Superior Spider-Man was like 7 years ago now, and obviously Captain America was 7 years ago. And I think people are just getting fed up. And I think originally it's like, I want to buy this because I want to see where it goes. But there hasn't been a good enough story in between to be like, I want to see where this goes. I think people are just being burned now. And I genuinely think it's a really horrible decision to do that because you're like, oh, we'll make people like angry and do something weird. And look at DC. Like they're not making everything perfect. They're giving like conflict. But they have the core things of what people like. Like they like Lois and Superman together. And guess what? They've been together for a few years now, and she's not on the sidelines. She's doing stuff. And now MJ's Venom. You have no excuse, you know? Like she could save herself, and she could even have her own stories. It's just like I don't understand that concept that is true of like make your fans angry. I think there's certain points where you can because you need the conflict, but you can't constantly make your fans angry. You have to give and take.
You know, we were talking about like X-Men not having villains to fight. Well, not only do you have excuse me, not only do you have these X-Men books with no villains to fight, but they have these solo books.
Sure.
And who are they fighting? Like what makes the solo book interesting? You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm really thinking about that.
And then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you have these solo books, there's no one really for them to fight, and it makes the book kind of suck. So I don't know, man.
And how many times can you create a new villain too? Because like I'm not saying you can't. Like Punchline existed. There's times where you can make a good villain, but they're hard to make. There are reasons why you have all these iconic villains. Take your iconic villains and do something with them. There's so many of them, especially Spider-Man. There's like characters we haven't seen in a while. We haven't.
You don't need to make them all as heroes.
No.
It's good to see them as villains and have some iconic fighting and battling and just plot lines with those villains, you know, motives and stuff like that.
And make them complicated. They get like someone just mentioned like Thanos in MCU. He thought he was right? But that or even just in general Thanos thinking he's right, but he's still doing bad things. Like I think that's an interesting point of view. So yeah, I just it's so interesting to see that be their point of view of like I want people to be angry and I want this and that. And I'm just like, oh, that's such a it's a weird point of view. And I think it's already proven it doesn't sell comics as much as making people happy. Because I think DC, it's interesting because DC, I think once Dan Didio left, it didn't happen all right away. It didn't happen overnight. And I think they had to restructure it. It took like 3 or 4 years to get there. But they finally got there. And again, it's not perfect. I don't think anything's perfect, but
it's much
they're
better
exciting
than it was before.
And there's a lot of exciting books, and I'm reading so many more DC books than I used to. And I think even when a book is not for me, for the most part, I can never say they're bad quality. I'm just like, oh, this is not for me. This is for somebody else. But I think at Marvel,
that's okay,
true.
Right? Like that's okay.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. There's not a book. You're not gonna read every single book, right? But there is gonna be a book for somebody.
Sure.
And I think that is the goal. And I think Marvel just overproduces those books. And I don't know why, but it's just too much. And I think they need to take that DC approach.
I don't even know if they are making books for everybody either, because they really used to have like the Runaways or Gwen like more Gwen books, which I know we have the one which might end. And then Unbreakable Squirrel Girl was a really good example. Miss Marvel. Those are books for different age ranges. Unbreakable Squirrel Girl, neither of us read it because it was more of an all ages book. So it was just like, oh, that was there. The Miss Marvel was there for teens, people who didn't, for people from a diverse background. Like a lot of people enjoyed those books. Like This is Spider-Man for a New Age. And those books don't exist anymore. So it's like all these books that I don't think ever is thinking about the audience. I think there's some like Moonstar, which I didn't read because I was not a New Mutants fan, but that one made sense to me because I'm like, this is for that New Mutants realm of people, where it's like, this is for a different group of fans. And all these other books, I'm like, who's your market? Besides, I guess people are like us that are already Wednesday warriors and going to pick and choose the stuff they want. But are you like trying to find different audiences, I guess, where I think I look at DC's slate where you have DC Siren, that Babs Tarr book that came out. That's very Burnside, very much for a different audience. And then you have Absolute Batman, very much for a different audience, action audience, and obviously a more mainstream. Like those are two very different books that are purposeful for different audiences.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then you just got to look at Marvel and they got to go and say, well, what's your goal here? Because are you here just to tell a bunch of short stories? Like, because people want to invest in a comic book, but if the comic book is not going to be around in a few months, then what's the point? So like you just said, you think Spider-Gwen could be possibly ending. I heard Black Cat's ending at issue 10. We originally thought it was going to end at issue 8, right? Now I looked in League of Comic Geeks and it doesn't go past 10.
Is that the last months of solicits or was there another month after that?
It doesn't let you click.
Okay.
There's nothing there. So I'm led to believe that might be that last one.
Which is just so like, I guess it gave it a chance, but it just doesn't feel like that book had a chance.
I don't think they did. I think they just don't want to say anything, but it's like, all right, we're going to end this at 10 issues. Isn't it just happens to be that every single one of their books ends at 10 or 12 issues?
Well, and someone just mentioned it here. Panel by Panel says Black Cat ends would be terrible because G. Willow Wilson has been cooking. Like Poison Ivy did it for 50 issues. And the reason a lot of people bought that book is they made beautiful variant covers. And then people were like, wait, this book is actually really good. So it's like, why are you not putting the value into Black Cat the same way as the same creator, same kind of vibe was done at DC and still continuing to do 50 issues later?
Yeah, absolutely. So it tells you like, I'm sure she can develop a pretty darn good story. And I don't know, man. It's the same with like Spider-Gwen and all those other books, because you feel like, oh, I like G. Willow Wilson and I like the artist that's on it. And then what happens if it restarts and you get a different writer, you get a different artist? But who am I to say that? Because now lately they've been rebooting series with the same creator. So
But even that
I
feels
don't
weird
know.
because you
Yeah,
lose momentum because you're just like, is it even worth it? Like I saw an article about Scarlet Witch in particular where it's like, this is the fifth time this thing's been rebooted. It's the same series. Like, come on. And it is strange because they obviously that book has its fans. They wouldn't continuously reboot it if it didn't. But it's just like, yeah, it's a strange move for issue 10. Like if you don't have belief in that series, like I get wanting the issue ones, but you have to have like a Hulk reason to do it. Like I think Hulk did it very well where it's like they felt like different chapters. Like when they don't feel different, it feels like a waste of time.
then you know what? You know what you do? I just do like what DC is doing and just put,
Jumping on points.
just put like, yeah, just put Jumping On Point or Eternal Hulk or
Mm.
Hulk Chapter 2, start here. Like, why do we got to start everything over? Like, I don't have an issue starting things over when you're on issue 50,
Sure.
75, 100,
Even 20 something.
right? Give it a couple years. Like, I get it. And it made sense for independent stories to end because there's a finite ending there. But for characters that have been around for years and years and years and years, why do we need to all of a sudden restart their story every year? That doesn't make any sense.
Was
And
especially
you
things like Gwen and Black Cat too, like where there's not a ton of female character stories. You keep rebooting them, and then there's hiatuses. It's just like these characters have loyal fans, and it seems like they're reading it enough if you keep rebooting it.
right. Yeah, and Moon Knight is another example of pointless restarts. It's a good series. It really is. And yet we're starting over again. Like it just doesn't make sense. And Mike Manhattan says, because of money, you're 100% right on that. You're 100% right. They just want to sell the new number one. But eventually, it, listen, I don't
It
know.
bottoms out eventually, I feel, because
Yeah.
those
And
fans that maybe were on the fence with that series, like, oh, this is a good chance to be done with it. I'm done with your like again, Scarlet Witch. I don't know what the numbers are for that, but it seems like as fans, but I know if I was on the fifth volume, I'd be like, I kind of get annoyed unless I love the story.
right. Yeah. So I don't know, man. But all right, we went on a tangent there about that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to villains being villains, I think it's okay if it's in the right, if it makes sense,
Sure.
right? But I don't think every single villain needs to be a good guy.
Yeah.
And you don't need to explore that either. I think some people should just stay evil. So if we get Peter Parker becoming Carnage and Carnage becomes good, that's a problem.
Yeah, we'll definitely have another topic about that if this
Yeah.
happens. Before we get into our comics, which there was a good set there of comics, I do have some Kickstarters we're going to talk about. So let's get into it. Right here. Let's see. First up, we got Nightmare in Wonderland. We were talking about reality TV. If you enjoy watching the Bachelor or Big Brother, we kind of play on those themes, and they were just in a casino, so now they're all on different reality television shows doing the topsy turvy of Wonderland, and this is the actual finale of this series. So if you guys want to check it out, this is the last issue of the series, and then we are going into a crossover, and you'll see what happens there. But we're super excited about what's being built over there. Then the next thing, I'm gonna get to the next thing here, and I'll screen share in a second. I was pulling it up. We have one more Kickstarter, so not three like last month, but we have the C2E2 cover. So if you're looking to just get our exclusive cover and try out our Little Mermaid series, it's what happens after Little Mermaid. It's also a pirate story as well. This is our C2E2 exclusive cover. It's a lenticular cover. It just launched today. We're only running it for a few days, so you guys can get the cover. And this also has a safe for work version and a not safe for work version. And the not safe for work version actually does have changes. There's 2 extra pages in that series, in that issue as well. So go check that out if you are looking for exclusives. And if you're at C2E2, I will be there. I'll have my RS Alley table closer to when I'm at the show, so you guys don't forget. All right, I think we are going to go to the comics this week, which I had some solid books, but I don't know if this was the biggest week this week.
Yeah, I had some really good books. I did have a hard time between like my number 6 and number 5. But I think it made sense.
Hmm.
But let's get into it. So first things first, let's talk about we were talking about Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 23. This is Death Spiral issue 2. So I think this event is off to a pretty good start. I am intrigued. It has good mystery. I want to know who the villain is. Hopefully it's not Kindred. That would suck. Or be Gary or Norman. But anyway, I do like the ending of that issue. And I wish they did a little bit more of that, where we got to see the Shocker face off against Torment and have a little bit more horrific action that happened in it instead of like the Aunt May discussion,
Too
right?
much. Her and a
Yeah,
Whoopi. I could not believe that was on a page where she's like,
yeah,
"Oh, we're doing Whoopi." I was like,
yeah.
"What is this dialogue right now?"
I mean, I that's what I got out of it. But overall, I think that the issue was pretty good, but I I wanted more of that ending. I think that's what I wanted there.
And I like the MJ and Peter moments. I thought there was a lot of interesting conversation about his hiding stuff and her having the opportunity. I was a little confused when he forgot she was Venom for some reason because he went to space, because they did talk about it a few issues ago and they even referenced it. They're like, I'm sorry, I forgot. And that was such a weird beat. But
But
this
didn't
one,
she tell it was Ben? It was Ben Riley
that
that
was
she told.
probably it. That it was Ben. That
Yeah,
probably what it was actually. But he made it like he forgot, and not that he wasn't told. I must have forgot because I was in space, which was a little weird. But I like those moments. I like the serial killer aspect too, of like, oh, like this murder mystery. I thought was interesting. Again, I do think the Aunt May stuff lasted way too long. It was almost half the issue. And I'm just like, why are we focused? Like, this is the only person you could talk to? Like, I don't understand why Aunt May is in this book so much. So that was the thing I didn't love, but I thought the artwork was good. It was in the middle of my pile. Like, I didn't
maybe
hate
she'll
it. I didn't
die.
love it. I don't know if they're building up to that. They should,
Listen,
honestly, but
I out of all the things on the planet that they have stuck with, they have stuck with Peter not telling her that he's Spider-Man. Well,
just crazy.
she did know at one point, right? I guess
Right.
before
One more day.
one more day.
Yeah.
But as of late, it's like just die already
Well,
or find out.
the reason she can't die is because of one more day. Because if she dies, then they unravel that whole entire thing. Because that's why they won't kill her. I think she could know, but then I think you do unravel that whole story again too. Because if she knows she gets shot or whatever, so I'm like, that's why I think they won't touch it.
This damn story, I swear to God, it
20
needs to
years
go
ago.
away, man. Jeez. God, of all the things to keep in continuity and
It's
that you
that.
don't retcon, you can't retcon this.
It's so confusing, but I think we were alluding into it before, but it's just because the same teams have been at Marvel for over 20 years, so they're stubborn. It's like the Dan Didio situation. The only way DC was able to change is when he left. I'm not saying he did good or bad or whatever, but you were able to change the guards because you had a different creative team
Yeah.
behind it. So Marvel's had the same people for a really long time, and it's just the same people being stubborn about it. They're like, we're gonna stick with this, and they're not gonna change until something else is changing at
Aunt
Marvel.
May is torment.
Carnage. Peter is the Carnage forever, and Aunt May is Torment. That's the
Yep.
story I want.
There we go. All right, let's move on. So we got the next book here is Nectar issue 1. So did you wind up reading it?
I did. I just found it. I found it. I got it in my pile, and I wasn't able to read it at the convention, but then actually at the convention they had, because Vault had like a big pile, so I actually got a monograph version of like one of the variant cover artists.
Oh, cool.
So that was cool. But I did end up reading it, and it was okay. Like, I think there was a lot
Yeah.
of good ambiance. Like, I think the butterfly setting was interesting, but were there any characters where I was like, whoa, this is great? No, I don't know if it gave me enough for an issue 2, and I don't quite understand the spec, but I thought the artwork was really good. I think that's what I enjoyed about it.
I'm getting issue 2. I mean, it's only like 4 or 5 issues. It's not like an
Oh, okay.
ongoing series. Yeah,
Okay,
it's just a
that's a little
mini
easier.
series.
That makes it even weirder how little happened in this issue because like you have
That's
like
true.
a mystery of like, oh, that girl who got scratched and stuff like that. You got a little bit of mystery, but other than that, like there's not much that happens to this issue.
I just have a feeling that maybe like the next two issues are gonna dive
Mm,
deep into it, and you're gonna see this whole um
butterfly
apocalypse
farm.
happen with these butterflies affecting like the
No.
nervous system of the people,
Mm.
makes them dance or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever was
know,
happening
man, but
there.
it's such a weird thing, beautiful butterflies cause such a deadly,
Mm,
situation. So curious to see how it develops. It's like it gave me like a little tease. It was like a teaser, and I
mm.
don't have any of my questions answered so far.
No, or even what the true plot is.
Right, exactly. All you knew, it was this doctor who wanted to hook up with this chick. That's all
Oh,
you knew.
that's all you got. That's
Yeah,
all
he
you
was
got.
like, "Go away, girls. I need to spend some time with this woman over here." It's kind of funny. All right, and then we got DCKO issue 5, the
The big one.
conclusion. Listen, it is what it is. We talked about it already. We got Doomsday, who is pretty much he becomes a good guy here. He's created this little pocket space for Superman to be in while this whole thing was going on. So ever since the very first issue when they were playing board games, that was that space,
Mm,
Um, and so we got Darkseid that leaves, and Superman is Superman. He's off somewhere else right now, and
probably another
yeah,
story
and
of some
that's
sort.
and that's it. I mean, that's all that it is. And all as I can say is I liked the journey more than I did like the ending. I liked the ending. I thought it was good, but um it was a little bit predictable, right? I think that's what we all came to the conclusion about. It
The
was very
event in
much a Superman
general.
event.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because I think the biggest shame here is that Lex Luthor really didn't do anything because Superman's
Yeah,
like, get out of the way. I think that would have been a little bit more interesting if Lex did something. But what I liked about this is that it does feel like part one to a bigger event, because they have that absolute crisis in the end where you're like, oh, that's super interesting. They're like teasing that. And obviously people are so tired of teases, but believe it or not, I don't think an event has done a tease in a while because all these events have been kind of so lackluster that they had nothing to tease in the first place. So I think
right.
that is what I liked, is that it felt kind of bigger than itself. And again, was not perfect. I agree. I do think Blackest Night by far is still the better event, but I think this is a promising step forward to where we could go. I thought this is where I want events to go, and that's what I liked about the ending. And I do think I had a lot. It gives you little teases of also where's Superman going to go. We're going to get like a mini series of what he's going to do. So I'm interested. I think the tournament style could have been a little stronger, and I think maybe we had higher expectations than they ever could have matched up to. But I'm excited to see this next chapter of DC too, because we're literally going to get in a week, and I love that. I love that this event can shape other stories, because especially Superman, we're already seeing the ramifications of what this is going to do to other Superman titles, which I'm pretty excited for.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see listen, I would have loved to see more of those individual issues where we had the battles. I thought those were pretty fun. I think they did that pretty good. But they did too much messing around with like the bracket. It's like, oh, Joker
Mhm.
kills Batman and Batman goes away, and then Batman comes back. But then immediately Batman dies again, and it's like Lex Luthor wins the tournament. Let's do battle against Darkseid. Oh, sorry, he's dead. Like it was like certain little elements there I would have loved to seen flesh out a little bit more, because it was
Especially when
disappointing.
Batman returned, because like he didn't
Yeah,
really even do much.
they did a whole series on him
uh,
returning and getting back in the tournament, and it was just like, "Hey, I'm back," and then the next thing he's dead. It's just
or
it was so weird.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it wasn't perfect, but it was entertaining, and
Yeah,
I
sure
think
it was.
yeah, and I think it just gave more than I expected. But yeah, I'm hoping the next event is a little bit less predictable.
Well,
That was something I
listen,
really didn't
we
love.
can wait. I can wait for the next event.
Yeah, like
I
a
I think
year.
they
I don't need it
Yeah,
for
they
another year.
built up this one. I
Yeah.
think the buildup was really great
Mm.
overall. It was a fun read. I had a good time reading it, and now we got teased with something else. So let's hope they take their time in writing it and doing it, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, let's see where these new titles go. I think I'm most excited for that now.
All right, so let's go on to our number 5. So what was your number 5?
Mine was Poison Ivy. We talked about it a little bit in our group chat, but I thought this was a really solid beginning to.
That was mine too.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
cool to see Poison Ivy as this mayor and like how she affected the city with her point of views. But obviously, the ending, the cliffhanger, was the most interesting, where it seems like she betrayed Harley to kind of get into this
Yeah.
position. So I want to see
What did
how
she
or
do?
why. Yeah, good mystery there. It's just
Right.
like it was a really good start to something that I think could be bigger.
So this was a perfect example of a good
Mhm.
jumping on point. I thought they did a good job at going into a spot where nobody knew that Poison Ivy was actually going to be mayor at this point, because at the last issue, yes, she said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to run for mayor," and we jump ahead, and now all of a sudden she's mayor. That's a good jumping on point for all readers. And they introduced the cast on who her people are going to be, right? And then
Which you
you
didn't need to
never
read the previous
e-
series to know
ex-
that. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, Janet was been around for a while. She's the one that Poison Ivy's been kind of sleeping with and
Mhm.
hanging out with and been protecting in the entire series so far. But she's a new person in here. She's like director of HR or whatever it is, basically. And but it leaves that mystery. Like nobody knew how she got elected, right? And I love how badass she was to Vandal Savage in here. I thought that was pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
She laid down the law on him right away, and he knows he can't go above her head. So it's really cool, man. I love this book. This book is so well written.
Yeah, and it's good art. Like you said, it's like what we were just talking about, G. Willow Wilson. Like, give her time. I Miss Marvel was really similar too, where she just needs a little space. And comics should be allowed to have space to tell stories. It should be like, here's two issues, you're done.
Yeah.
Especially if they're selling okay. If they're not like the worst sold book, then give them a little chance. Especially if maybe they're selling well as trades. Panel by Panel says, "Do you think the time jump is a good thing or a bad thing?" Here, I think it was a good thing because
Yeah.
I had only read like 2 issues before Poison for the previous Poison Ivy because Mike was recommending it, and then I just didn't feel lost, which was really nice. I think it's you're having this major arc. You gotta you want new readers to read it, then you gotta have it to be new reader friendly. And I think the way to do that was this time jump and have this mystery because again, that was the most interesting thing is like what happened in between the last series and this that this happened to Harley.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about the next book that's related to um Batman is Batman, issue 7. So here we got to see Joker in some like test tube, and he's being experimented on, and we get him requesting Batman to come here, and they're having this conversation, and Batman kind of blows him off until he knows that he's Bruce Wayne. And it was like, oh crap, you know? But it's so interesting. And here is my question. How did he get in that tube? Like what happened to him? Is it based off of Jim Lee's and Jim Lee's book?
Yeah, I don't know. I that's what's interesting is again that kind of time jump aspect. I hope we get an answer. I thought this issue was interesting because of the artist, the scientist girl. I liked
Yeah,
her interjection here and like her placement. I will say this is a little slower than the previous issues though, because it was so much of a talking heads. Like this is what happened,
sure.
this is what's happening. But I think there's a lot of promise to this Joker, especially because Joker knows that Batman is Bruce. I thought that was really interesting because I don't remember him knowing he was Bruce. Maybe he did, but he hasn't said it out loud like that. And obviously
No,
now
and you saw his
Joker,
reaction when he said
yeah,
his name.
I
And
didn't think
then
that he knew.
right, and then it's like I like the doctor, how she's very obviously professional, right? And she's like, "Subject 10, you got calm, subject 10," and it's just like she's like a therapist, right? And it's just like doesn't fall for the same tricks as Harley say did or the manipulation, but I don't know. That's funny. This one panel by comics says, I really hope the new
Mm,
Lady doesn't become Harley 2.0.
I
It
hope
didn't
not
seem like
either.
she was,
Yeah.
though.
Mm-mm.
It seemed like she wasn't really falling for his shit.
She just seemed like a professional too, because
Yeah,
she allowed them to have their conversation, but she like kind of knew boundaries. So I actually really like her. I think she's been a really cool addition to the series thus far,
yeah,
because she is someone we don't really know, but she's been very close to Batman since the beginning of the series.
yeah. I'm just curious how Joker got in there to begin
Hmm.
with, and if it ties into the previous Batman run that Jim Lee is still currently trying to finish, you know.
Hmm.
So I guess we shall see. It says Joker definitely still manipulating people in the facility.
Sure.
Yeah, he was talking about that janitor guy, right? That was the one that he was talking to who manipulated. All right, so let's go on. Let's talk about I'll talk about this real quick. Star Wars Shadow of Maul issue 1. Um it was kind of a setup issue, obviously, to get to know the major cast of characters in that book. Really didn't get any Darth Maul, so if you're willing to give issue 2 a try, um, go
It's
for
crazy
it.
you didn't get a lot, but that also makes
Yeah,
sense for the character. I feel like he's someone who's, I mean, in that
it's
original movie, he's only in it for like 15 minutes. So,
it's like a cop. It's a cop comic book. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? It kind of felt like
interesting.
that, like a detective, like mystery book. And the only reason why you knew it was like a Star Wars book is because they mentioned the Empire, and then Darth
Wow.
Maul shows up in one page at the end, and that's it. So I might give it a second try just because it's Benjamin Percy. That is
Mm.
really only reason why. So, all right, let's talk about Narco. This this book was good.
This
I
is
get
great. Yeah.
Doug Wagner once again absolutely nails this type of genre of book. And
Hmm.
having this guy be a very relatable character to a
You
lot
feel
of
from him from
people.
like the first page. You're like, I
Yeah,
get him. Yeah, I
right.
agree.
Yeah. And just having this medical issue with him suffering narcolepsy when he gets overly excited is crazy. And then, you get to see him meet his friends. He kind of likes this girl that works at this diner. And then it looks like the relationship is finally building. And then it looks like she gets possibly murdered and he's witnessing that. And then he passes out. And it's like, oh, dude, so what happened in that time frame that he was passed out? That's
It
cool.
was so clever. The artwork works so well because obviously the same artist he's been working with, Hilliard, for every other series. But it was fast. It got a lot in there. Like you said, you felt for the character, you understood the character, you had a great mystery. And it felt unique because, like, that whole concept that he's falling asleep, it's like, oh, I haven't read a comic like this. This is weird, but it works so well with Doug Wagner's style of writing. I actually had a friend who visited for Emerald City Comic Con. We met through Comic Con stuff, so I was recommending him the Narco book because I was like, oh, Doug Wagner's right there, and he's like, oh, what did you read this week, Kat, like that you liked? I was like, oh, I really like Narco. You should check it out. And he read it. He's like, oh man, I'm so glad you recommended that because it's like so weird. And I'm like, yeah. And then he bought like all his other comics too, but it's such a good series, and it's funny that like a book like Nectar was the one that was getting all the spec, and I'm like, I wish a book like Narco was because I think that
But
was a better
I
book.
found out that it did though.
Oh,
Like,
did it?
yeah, like the book was selling for like $20 too.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a great book, and I want more people reading it. It was really good.
Yeah. It's like it just seems like all of a sudden these new issue ones from Image or from I guess
Anything.
anywhere now are just all of a sudden it's like if the premise even sounds remotely good, it's like people are like specking on this newest number one,
Hmm.
you know?
I wonder if they'll stay in the spec. Like Nectar is a good example. I'm like, I don't know how long that's gonna stay as a $70 book or whatever it ends. I think that cover B is like $75.
Is
So
it? Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know how long that will stay, but I do hope the hype for those issue ones continue because that's the thing I do like about the specs. So yeah, I'm curious about that. Supposedly some of the specs are coming from Reddit, like specifically. I think it was Nectar. Like this guy is popular on Reddit, and like that's where the spec came from. And like that's crazy.
That'd be
Like
crazy
where
if it
these,
came from
yeah,
Reddit of all
yeah.
places, huh?
That's why that was the whispers I was hearing.
I mean, I know I do a prediction on certain books that are going to be big. And like the first time I hear about these certain books is like on my FOC.
Sure.
and it's sent out a month before the book comes out to me. So like I know I look at a book and I read it and I'm like, well, that sounds cool and that sounds cool. And then I recommend it like on my top 10 most pulled video. And it's kind of funny how many of them are actually like doing well. But I'm not looking them up on eBay or anything like
Sure.
that. I'm just reading what the
What sounds
story is
interesting.
about. Yeah, and what sounds interesting, you
Well,
know?
Dork was probably a good example of what it seemed like to be like that was the first wave of this, and it ended up being a really good book. So I think that helped it for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely true. All right, so let's see. We went through all those books, so then let's go with our number 4. What's your number 4?
Mine is All New Spider Gwen issue 8. I thought this was a pretty solid issue where Gwen has someone die because of her hands, and she feels more like Norman than anything else. And then she has a conversation with Norman, and obviously Norman is this kind of good guy right now. And I thought that was really intriguing. But again, there is the whisper in the back of your head, is like, oh, is this gonna be over? That kind of sucks because I'm enjoying it. Again, is it going to be an absolute Batman book? No, I don't even think it's the book it was in that first volume. I don't know if it's as stylish, but I like it. It's fun. I think it's for somebody. It's for a person like me. So it kind of sucks that it probably won't last any longer. It might get rebooted again. This is the second volume of this series already, which really sucks.
And how many different volumes have they come out
Oh my
with the
god,
Spider-Gwen character already, though?
7. I can't even. I can't even tell you, and I can't even tell you which ones were memorable or not memorable because they all
I
kind of like squished together.
I couldn't even tell you a single one except the
Mm,
first volume
sure.
when the character was introduced, maybe in the Spider-Verse miniseries.
Because it lasted so long. That first volume, it launched, I think, twice, and it had like 50 issues attached to it, and they're all
Right.
very pretty consistent. So yeah, that kind of sucks for sure. But yeah, I mean, this is a solid enough series. But I will say, unlike the original, I don't think you're going to become a Spider-Gwen fan because of this series. I think if you're already a Spider-Gwen fan, you're going to like it. But I don't know if this is going to make new fans,
Yeah,
honestly.
true. I don't either. All right. So let's see. Where are we at here? That was your number 4, right?
Yeah, I do want to mention Mike Manhattan's comment. I've heard this book shares the same universe as the creator's other books, Plastic and Vital. Is that true? Yeah, all of it. I actually, my friend asked the creator, is like, oh, like, how do you do it? He's like, oh, they're in the same universe. I just make a new issue 1 because that's a better business model. And they're obviously different characters. Like, that's how you read, that's how you do that, where it's all in the same universe and you can have connections to other series, but they're all different enough to make a new issue 1.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so my number 4 was actually Narcos, so we just talked about that. Okay, so let's move forward here. We're going to talk about you can talk about real quick if you want
Yeah, quickly.
Radiant
Yeah.
Black.
Um, it's a series that's on the bubble for me because I've been following it for so long, so it's hard to drop. But it's also just hasn't been as strong as it used to be. This was kind of low for me. It's just like I'm not as dedicated to the series, and it's really hard to make a new superhero universe and make it exciting. And it really did lose me when I had that big war situation. And for
Yeah.
a few issues, it brought me back. There was some really good in interpersonal relationships that I really liked. And now it's going back to all those villains, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just care about like the Peter Parker of it all, and I don't know if it's worth it as much to keep it on my pull list just for that. So it's on the bubble. I'll try to continue it, but it's not one I'm as excited about as I used to be.
Yeah. It was a much different series when it first
Yeah.
started, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's talk about Absolute Superman issue 17. So wow, this book was really good, man. Just seeing like this version of Parasite
Mm.
and seeing Superman try or Lois even coming across Jimmy Olsen and he's being attacked and the monster feeds on fear and just those interactions too between and Hawkman doing the wrong thing, Superman doing the right thing
I know
on
who
trying to save
Hawkman's teaming up with
Metropolis.
too in the
Yeah.
end.
Yep. I mean, and just Brainiac at the end of this whole thing, I just like, wow, what a good 2-issue story arc this one was.
And I saw some people complaining about the art because they like the original artist more, but I actually really like this art for this arc. I think it really helped to bring that horror element to Parasite, and the end with Brainiac, which we were like alluding to about Lex Luthor, where he starts as this kind of normal guy, and now he's obviously not going to be because his whole family was killed. And I like that we get a different side of Lex Luthor because of that. I agree. It was just really well balanced. There's a lot of stories, but it never felt like a lot. And I felt like every character had something to do, from Lois to Superman. And I like the hope that Superman still has, even though this is a dark universe where Superman doesn't really have a family and doesn't have someone to talk to. And Hawkman's the closest he can, but then he realizes this ain't my bro, you know, I'm going to find someone else.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. So I really liked it. I think I continue to say Absolute Superman is the one that always surprises me. Until I read it, I forget how much I like the series.
Yeah, and this artist was on this 2 issues, and that was it. And I think he did a fine job. I think he did really good. Again, this is the same artist that was with Jason Aaron that did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's that same artist there. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about our number 3. So what was your number 3?
Mine was, let's see, DCKO. For all the reasons I said before, I don't know if it was a perfect series, but I did like the big moments. I think the big moments got me excited to see where DC is going to go.
Gotcha. My number 3 was the conclusion of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees the Rite of Spring. What a great book, man. Just overall, I felt like issue 5 was better than issue 6. But here we wind up getting to see Samantha escape. And she's still out there. And from what I heard and from what others told me out there, there's going to be a volume 3.
I could only predict because, and that's actually another good example of how they're doing their arcs. Like, because you could keep rebooting because they already understand you're rebooting because of arcs and not because you're like, here's the same story. Like it does feel different each arc. So I can understand why they did that.
Right. I mean, it is a continuation of the same story. You know, but this is their way of like taking a break and writing it and then releasing.
Because he draws it too. Like he does all of it. So like, that's a lot of work.
Exactly. But man, what a great story and just wild stuff. What a great comic book. So well done. All right. Let's go and talk about Absolute Flash issue 12. Another end to a story arc here, right? We wind up seeing Wally, I guess, seeing his dad go by. You know, he's had to sacrifice himself, and then the rogues take off, and I guess that's how you wind up getting to see maybe Wally develop these enemies, right? Grodd goes off in his own situation, and his dad says you can't trust the humans. So I guess that's how everything gets set up. So now where does the book go from here?
And I think that was my thing where I liked the last part of the issue. Like I enjoyed, this is where it's going to go. But I thought to get there, it wasn't as exciting. Or like, all right, this is what's going to happen to the dad. But I am curious to see where it goes. I still like the art. I just don't know if this was the strongest issue. And I guess we're getting issue 13 right away. But I'm actually going to look that up. I don't know if we're getting it right away or not, or are they taking a break? Is this how they take a break? Let's see. We are getting the next issue in March, so never mind. Yeah. They're not taking a break. They're just like end of year 1, and now they're starting this. A new story starts here, so maybe that they're trying to make it a jumping on point though, which I'm sure it will be, honestly, because they end in a way where it feels like it could be.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see where it goes because I feel like, besides Absolute Martian Manhunter, that's like its own thing. Like, and Green Lantern, I know you guys like Green Lantern, but I feel like this is one of the slowest stories.
Yeah.
It's a typical Jeff Lemire written story. His stories are written very slowly.
Yeah, I think like with something with his indie books that work a little better is that he could fit a lot more character work that I don't think he does in Absolute Flash as much because you're focusing so much on the action. And that's my biggest problem with Absolute Flash is I just don't feel like a lot's going on. But if you look at something like Minor Arcana, like it's not a story that moves that much plot wise, but there's so much character work that you don't mind. And I don't know if that's happening here as much. It's still a series I'll continue to read. I still like it. It's just not, it's not the top book for me.
It feels like something is missing from it though,
Mm-hmm.
to make it that next book. Like when you
I think
look
a
at,
twist. It doesn't have any twists.
when you look at Absolute Batman, and then you look at even at, Absolute Wonder Woman, and then you look at those books and you're just like, dang, those books are pretty good. And
Mm-hmm.
Absolute Superman, right? And you look at this, and that book is good, but it's like, I don't know, it seems like the rogues are cool looking, but they're not as interesting. And everything that was developed seems like now it gets pushed off to the side. And it's like, okay, well, where are we going now?
And I don't know if I care about his missing dad. I think that's a problem too, where I'm just like, okay, whatever. I agree, because I want to know more about Wally. I think that's what works about those other titles, is that you get a lot of interpersonal or more reflection of the character. Like you're in their minds a lot, so you know them
Right.
very well. Here it's just like, I don't know if I know Wally. I think I know what he's going through, but I don't really know him personally. And I think, yeah, it's just there's some lacklusterness that I'm not used to with Jeff Lemire, because he's usually really good at getting into characters' heads, and he's not as good here for some reason.
Right. Right. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna just talk about Thundar the Barbarian. Issue 2, really freaking good. I love this book. It obviously reminds me back when I was a kid, but this book explores these main characters going back to 1994. That's when this apocalypse actually happens, because they're technically like 2,000 years in the future. So they wind up going back in 1994, where these wizards wind up going, and now they're going to try to stop them. I'm very curious to see how that all turns out, because that's something that's not explored in the cartoon, is like how the apocalypse happens, right?
Mhm.
Also, it's not really explored that much how this character, Thundar, is a slave. Like you don't really see the origin story of him, and you're getting that in this comic book too. So that's what makes this a really pretty good comic book. So again, this one's also written by Jason Aaron. So it's a solid book. I'm looking forward to more. Yeah, I do too. I do too. All right. So let's go on to number 2. What do you got, Kat?
Mine was Absolute Superman. We already talked about it.
Mine was Thundar. So we
There you
just
go.
talked about that. All right. So let's move on then. And let's go and talk about we talked about Poison Ivy. So let's talk about Power Rangers.
This is the penultimate issue of the series. There's parts I like about it, but I think what was hard about this series is that they're all pretty new characters, and I think people want the characters they saw on TV. So I don't know where they're going to go with Power Rangers after this. It was a fun ride. I like Melissa Flores' writing. I enjoyed seeing the Power Rangers Samurai in particular, but I do think the next chapter they should do something a little bit of maybe even the other seasons. It doesn't necessarily have to be Mighty Morphin, but I think they need to bring the fan favorite Rangers to kind of sell the book a little bit more.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So then with that, we just go right into our number 1. So my number 1 was Absolute Superman, issue 17. What was
And
yours?
mine was Narco. We already talked about it.
There we go. That's super easy right there. All right. So before we wrap up the show, we're just going to go into our most anticipated. So, Kat, you're anticipating Alias Red Band. This is issue 1. So excited to have Jessica Jones back.
Yeah, and also the previous Jessica Jones series have been very like more superhero leaning, not as much of the detective stuff. So I'm excited to go back to Alias in particular, and I really like Sam Humphrey's writing. I'm glad to see him back. So I'm just curious to see what the tone's going to be. And also it's Red Band, so maybe they'd actually curse. I don't know. It's interesting. Usually they censor the curses in
Yeah,
Red Band.
it's like Red Band, make the curse happen, put the
Yeah.
violence in there, put it in there, man. Come
Especially
on.
Jessica Jones, where that's
She
kind of what
curses.
this, yeah, that's what the
Yeah,
series is built on, is that there was sex in the book, there was,
right.
violence, there was cursing. So I hope to get that, but I'm also not expecting
Yeah,
that.
exactly. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
All
just
right,
make it
and
a regular
then
book then.
right, and then, my number 3 is, actually Absolute Batman issue 30. Now, this is funny. I originally put these in here, and when you were doing the doc, you
Mm.
erased it.
No,
Yeah.
not me. I can't believe
Yeah,
I
you
do that
did.
every once in a while where I'm
Yeah,
just like, yeah,
because it was
yeah.
still the old ones are there, and I'm like,
Mm.
"Should I put do not erase, or
Yeah, you
does
should.
Cat realize these are new books?"
No,
And then you
definitely.
erased them.
Yeah, definitely put do not erase on that
Yeah.
one.
So, Absolute Batman issue 30, we get the continuation of Absolute Poison Ivy. So, and
Mm.
Poison Ivy in this world, man, she is grotesque. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Batman chops her up or whatever it is. But yeah, definitely looking
And we had a
forward to
good
seeing what
cliffhanger
happens.
too. That was again. There's for me. I actually thought there were a lot of cool books coming out
Yeah.
tomorrow, so I was like, oh, let me spotlight some
I
other
think
ones.
there's like 5 or 6 like really, really
Mm.
maybe 7 strong books, and then it does drop off. It does drop off. I think I'm getting like 16 or 17 books too,
Wow.
but that's at least for now. I don't know what I'll walk out of there with though.
I have a feeling you'll get a couple more.
Yeah, exactly. So your second was Black Cat issue 8.
I really like that last issue. That's one I'm really excited for because I really like MJ and Black Cat's relationship. So yeah, I just want to see more of that.
Yeah, so they're in like what was it, the negative zone? Looking for that
Yeah.
audition tape
Or
or something like that?
they're going to the negative zone. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But I just think the artwork in there is beautiful. I love just the overall character. I like the way she's written in here. And again, the Mary Jane aspect of it adds to it. And it
Mm.
kind of reminds you of a Harley and Poison Ivy together in the Poison Ivy book. It's kind of the same thing, you know? So it just sucks that if this does end after this arc, it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't agree with it. But
Same.
hey, it is what it is, right? All right. So my number 2 is Venom, issue 255, Death Spiral. This is part 3. So it looks like we're going to get maybe Spider-Man and Venom working together in this one. And maybe they're going after Carnage. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And I think that's what I like about this event because it's not predictable. And I'm curious to see where we're going to go with that.
I do predict though this will be the best part of the event because Venom's been so strong, and even with that one shot that was like, here's some written by Amazing Spider-Man creative team, this some written by Venom. That was the better part, was the Venom side. So I am very curious about this creative team doing this arc.
So here's this.
Oh, okay, that's good, Elise. I mean,
So
at least 15. I think maybe I will say I think people took that Bleeding Cool article and kind of ran with this. So they're like, it's gonna end, it's gonna end. So, you know, here G Willow Wilson. So that's good at least. Especially Black Cat. I do love Spider-Gwen. Obviously, it's on there, but like Black Cat, I think it just needs the room to grow. Like I
yeah,
really
that's why I said from the very beginning, because that's just her writing, you know?
mhm.
So we'll see. All right. And then your number 1 is X-Men United issue 1.
There's a big reason why. It's Eve Ewing writing it. So it's the same creative team, or at least the same writer as Exceptional X-Men, and Emma's the lead. So I'm just hoping I get my Exceptional X-Men, but in this form. So this is just selfishly for me. I don't know if it's gonna be for everybody else, but I hope it's like Exceptional X-Men.
Oh, yeah, listen, I'm about done with X-Men.
I don't blame you. Are
I
you getting
have
this though?
I will get it.
Okay.
Yes, because it's a number 1, and again, this is the book that provides all the X-Men to go
Mm.
together.
And in a
Like
school setting.
there's a school setting, there's this and that. So could this be the closest thing that we've gotten to previous X-Men? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I officially am dropping X-Men. I've dropped Uncanny X-Men. I'm dropping Wolverine. I'm not going to Force. I'm not reading any of those books. So this is the only one that's left now that hasn't come out yet that I'm going to give it a try. I think I'm going to continue to read Deadpool and
Are Are you getting X-23, the second issue? Or
No.
are you dropping that?
Yeah, I'm dropping that too. I think it's
I'm
just Deadpool, I think, for right now. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I'm getting Magic Colossus, the second issue, just to kind of give it a shot. I don't know if I'll like it. I don't read X-Men, and I'm on the verge of dropping Uncanny. I haven't loved that one,
So here's a
but we'll see.
comment. It
Mm,
says the school is psychic, it's not
so
physical.
interesting. I guess in their head.
Well, that would be weird too.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh yeah,
That,
we will
that's
definitely see about
something.
that.
Yeah. But
Why can't you
please,
just build
please
a
give
house
me.
and please live in it? Like why does it have to be psychic? Like why does she have to I can see it now. She can make this psychic house,
Sure.
and she's like,
Everyone
everybody
join.
can telekinesis to me, and we can all live in the house and share one mind. It could be that. I'm telling you.
I
Emma
mean, we'll
constructed
see.
it. See,
I
see.
I really liked Exceptional. I liked what she did with Emma, so I have my fingers crossed for it. Uh, I don't know. Like we said, we'll see. But I agree with you. There's some X-Men titles I definitely have dropped, but I'm hoping for maybe we'll all like this one.
He agreed. He said exactly. It's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Oh man.
Oh,
We'll
so
see.
you could be miles and miles apart, but telepathically
You're in a
you can
school.
always be in Emma's house.
It could look cool. We'll see. I'll
We'll
try to be
see.
open-minded about it.
You want to have a telekinetic tea party? Let's
I mean,
come together. Are
only
you
Emma
down for
could do
that?
it.
Yeah.
If Emma's inviting me, I'll go.
Oh, all right. And then my number one is Transformers issue 30. This is the conclusion to the story arc here. Well, I know you don't know anything about Transformers, but you're gonna have looks like a battle between Alita One, who was the Cybertronian Autobot that was on Cybertron, and she's had enough of Optimus Prime. It looks like they're gonna freaking fight. So
Are
that
the
could be
people still in this, or is it just the
yeah, it's
Transformers?
the
Okay,
people. Yeah, they're in there.
I was
Uh,
curious.
so they're gonna fight, and that could be quite interesting. This is the last issue that Dan Mora is on.
Who's
So and
taking
then
over?
uh the person that does that. Oh, I forgot the person's name. Alibi or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, what's his name? Oh, here we go. Let me see. Just give me a second.
I'm ready. I'm waiting in anticipation.
I'm on Tigress Island here. Hold on a second. I was doing my video last time.
I'm interested in that one. The art looks weird, but I'm excited for that too.
Oh, it sounds kind of cool. Like they get
Yeah.
captured,
Yeah.
right? And then
They're on
they're
an island.
actresses, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let
I'm
me
game for
go.
I'm game for that one. That was almost my most anticipated. I hope it's good.
It is Ludo Lullaby. He's the
Okay.
one, yeah. God, he does that Pepper book. What is that one called?
Pepper. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
right.
haven't read it, but I
Where
know what
she
you're
has
talking
that
about.
food truck or whatever it is. Yeah, yeah. So he's done Transformer art before.
Okay.
It looks pretty badass. So I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for Transformers in general. And that's it. That is our most anticipated. I almost said top 10 most anticipated, but it's
It's
not
our
top
top
3.
10.
Yeah. So hopefully next week Brant will be back and I don't skip a show like you guys predicted, and we'll see what happens.
I hope all three of us will be here. It looks like there's some interesting books to talk about. So, or St. Patrick's Day, we'll be wearing green. I was
Oh,
just
is
looking
that
up
when
like
it
what's
is?
next
St.
week.
Patrick's Day? Oh yeah, that's what we do. We all got to wear green that day. I'll wear my Green Lantern shirt.
I like it. I don't know if
Yeah.
I own green. I'll look.
Oh, geez. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. And hopefully you guys had fun. If you watch this post live, hopefully you have just as much fun. As always, make sure you subscribe to our channels, Cat Comic Uno, my channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0, Brent's channel, Only Good Comics. And don't forget to hit the bell for when this live stream happens. And guys, have a happy new comic book day, and we will see you all next week. Good night, everybody.